Hello and welcome to a new episode of I Can Do. I'm Benjamin Lee. Thank you so much for listening wherever you may be. I know that you are interested in improving in your life, growing, learning from others, having an I Can Do mindset. And we have another special guest that certainly has an I Can Do mindset and attitude. Really looking forward to hearing more about her story. Blanca Rodriguez, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Benjamin, for having me. It's an honor and a joy for me to be here.
You are welcome. We were just talking right before we got started recording about some things that we have in common. My mom has been a massage therapist. She's not doing that anymore full time. One of my aunts in Chicago has done massage therapy, and you are involved with massage therapy as well. And we're both animal lovers and have taken part in Toastmasters and probably a lot more with respect to similarities. So I was sharing with you, Blanca. I want to share with the audience, and then I'll hand it over to you. My sister, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks ago, sent me a text message about something that is being done in Denmark. It's called the Human Library, where people are able to meet up at the library for about 30 minutes and they get to share their story. And I just thought that was just a fantastic idea. I've never heard of it before. And so I was just thinking about the podcast here. I've had a number of guests, and whenever someone, typically Blanca, comes onto the show, there's a few exceptions. But for the most part, I'm meeting them for the very first time. So it's always interesting. You know, you see people's bios, and your website is right there for everybody to go and to see the great work that you're doing as well.
Thank you.
So I was just thinking, how about we do that where we're meeting for the first time in about 30 minutes or so? I'd love to hear from you and for you to share your story with the audience around the world. And I'd love to chime in. I know I'm going to have questions, but I want to hand the floor over to you because I know you have an amazing story. You're doing so many great things for so many people. You have a servant heart, which really stands out as well. So, who is Blanca? Tell us about your story.
Absolutely. Thank you, Benjamin. And it's so lovely to meet you as well. We have so many things in common, and it's pretty remarkable how God has a plan for all of us. And this is a big blessing in disguise. So, this is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm super grateful and thankful to be here. I've been a Toastmaster for over 2 years. I'm a licensed massage therapist for the state of Florida for almost 20 years. I'm a certified canine massage therapist for 9 years. And no, canine massage is not rubbing or petting the dog. Canine massage is massage. Massage is the manipulation of soft tissue or muscle with the purpose of healing and or relaxation. Same beautiful effects we humans have with massage therapy, same effects our dogs have with their canine massage as well. I have had many doggy clients, tens of thousands of human clients as well. And what a big honor and joy for me it is to use my hands for the purpose of helping others, for the purpose of doing no harm. That's the biggest rule of us massage therapists: do no harm. And it's a beautiful practice that I started many years ago. And God had a calling for me. And that has been like that since I was a little kid because I always remember myself as being a helper and approaching people and helping the cat and loving the dog. And it's been something that has been like part of my nature, definitely. I am born in New York City, raised in Puerto Rico by Puerto Rican parents. I had a beautiful, excellent childhood until the until I reached the age of 8 years old when my father tragically passed away in the city of New York. He was in his business and his life was terminated by someone. And then that is when everything took a turn for one surprise and one traumatic childhood after the other. First of all, the passing of my father. My father was my person. My father, I was daddy's girl. definitely. And upon his passing, part of our culture in that time, I'm 58 years old now. This was 50 years ago. So the mentality, how things are dealt with nowadays are very different from what it used to be back then. But back then in the culture, it was about you don't talk about the dead because that's no good for no one. And when it's the whole opposite, the more we talk about our loved ones that have passed, the better we will feel. And it's and it's the biggest sign of support and love that you can receive from anybody is that so a little question like, how are you feeling? How are you
Right.
doing today? Those simple questions can mean so much in somebody's lives. And that is something that I lacked of for a very, very long time. I grew up around chronic, untreated mental illnesses for a very, very long time. Mental illness was stigmatized, was demonized, was never talked about back in that day. The concept of mental illness was either you are crazy and you are in the mental institution, or given pills that make people zombies, or you're not crazy at all. So I lived around that for a very, very long time. And it teaches always, it teaches us always a lesson. Always, always, always. But at that time, I really didn't know what lesson will be. That what is the lesson that I'm supposed to learn here from when my own mother started with my own beloved mother. I
Mhm.
adore her. She took very good care of herself physically, but mentally and emotionally. That never happened because she was scared of basically her life being over and
Right.
being alone with three little kids. So my mother went into a very deep depression after my father's death, and she never recovered from it.
Wow.
She got help, finally, the help that she so very much needed and deserved, by age 80. So it was
Wow.
a whole lifetime of her not taking care of herself, us living in a very confusing, unstable environment, because mental illnesses is not being stable emotionally. So and so was
Right.
she. I grew up around a lot of mental illness, not only from my mother, but from many family members as well, uncles, aunts. It was something very rampant. And I had two uncles that they were veterans from Vietnam, and they went from a little town in Puerto Rico to Vietnam, and they came back with what it was called shell shock and
Right.
what is called today post-traumatic stress disorder, and
Hmm.
so many other things. So schizophrenia, PTSD, bipolar disorder, many, many illnesses. I am telling you that if there's a menu of mental illnesses, my family had it all,
Wow.
unfortunately. And it's something that sometimes we laugh about, but it's in the healthiest way possible that we laugh about it.
Right.
It's like, holy smokes, what happened here? But it's everything. Everything is like definitely with a purpose, and is to for the purpose of learning lessons and for the purpose of helping others. And as I grew up, I was in a in a very unstable life.
Yeah.
I was sexually assaulted a year after my father's death, and I kept it a secret because of shame, because I didn't think nobody will believe me. I was a little
Yeah.
girl. My word had really not much power, and I kept it a secret for many, many years. And during those years, I was assaulted over and over again, sexually harassed over and over again.
Mhm.
So it was something repetitive over and over and over. And many years later, in my 30s, I met the father of my kids. He is deceased now. And I had kids. And when I had kids, it was God gave me the gift of kids. God chose me to be their mom for a very powerful, important reason.
Yeah.
And when I gave birth to them, I said to myself, I didn't give life to them. They brought me back to life, because before them, my life really didn't have much of a purpose. My purpose was partied until I dropped,
Mm.
looking for the next temporary satisfaction, looking for whatever it is that will satisfy my needs on that
Right.
moment. And it was in the form of drugs and a lot of
Mhm.
alcohol for many, many years. And then my
Mhm.
kids came over and everything transformed. Everything changed. It was not about me drowning in my sorrows anymore, drowning in my pity party, drowning in me feeling sorry for myself. It was about something much more important, and it was okay, I need to start getting out of this rabbit hole and start the healing process if I want to be the best mother I can be for my kids.
Right.
And that is when small miracles started to happen. I've always been a helper of helping someone all my life, but it was time for me to help myself. It was time for me
Mm.
to go through self-discovery, through self-help, through self-love instead of self-sabotage and self-destruction. That's where I was at many points in my life. And still, um I was pretty useful in the sense that I always worked for what I wanted. I went to school, I got a degree, and I was very functional
Right.
in that aspects. But this is what there is one of the many name mental disorders that there are now. It is high functioning depression. I
Yeah.
wasn't depressive, but I was high functioning self destructive mode. That was
Wow.
me. And my kids have been my biggest miracle in this life. My kids definitely gave me a new sense of what is worth living for. That is for sure. I went into a doctor's office and nothing happens by chance. It was part of the plan. I was at a doctor's office and right there in front of me, there was a book called The Secret. And I was like, wow, I have so many secrets in my life that I could write a book about it. Well, some years later, somebody yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how, God works in mysterious ways, definitely.
Mhm.
And the more we understand that and the more we dive into it, the better definitely we are, without a doubt. So I receive a random email
Hmm.
asking me, do you think you have a compelling story to say? And I was like,
Mm.
wow, I think so. Would you like to be a co-author? I'm like, well, I have said to myself so many times, I've been to so much crap in this world that I could write a book about it.
Right.
Have a 15-minute call with us. You may be our next book co-author. Well, the 15-minute became an hour call. The interviewer was crying. I was crying. I got chosen. And that is when another miracle happened.
Mm.
I finally wrote down my experience in 2,000 words. My 47 years of silence came out in the form of a chapter in a book in
Mm.
2,000 words. How I compacted that, it
Right.
was God's work because I made it happen. And the rest definitely really followed in a perfect order. Right after the book, Toastmasters came into my life, another beautiful blessing that keeps on changing lives all over the world. It keeps on changing me. It keeps on helping me to be a better person, a better professional, a better helper. And today I have amazing kids. They are grown-ups now. I am married to a wonderful man. Unfortunately, the father of my kids, he succumbed to his drug addiction and died at
Wow.
the age of 48.
Mm.
But he was one of the biggest lessons in my life too. It's like either I choose to follow or I choose to go to the road of healing, the
Mhm.
road of being a better person, the road of really giving to others because I have been giving to myself as well. So
Yeah.
life is really, really a blessing. I am in a state of gratitude every single day of my life, no matter how good or bad the day can go. Being
Hmm.
in a state of gratitude and in a state of grace really has helped me, and it keeps on helping me through all the challenges that we all face, because come on, life is life.
Hmm.
And things really, really do happen. But the more we understand that we really keep on going and this too shall pass, the better off we will be. Definitely. I help a lot of people. I mean, today I am working as a massage therapist in 2 rehab centers for drug addiction and alcohol
Mm.
abuse. It is the most important mission that I have as a professional massage therapist that I've been for almost 20 years.
Can I
And
interject and
of
ask? Let me
course.
let me ask a couple of questions. One,
Mhm.
how old were you, if I can ask, when you first was started with drugs and alcohol? So that's something else similar that we have together as well. My dad was an alcoholic. I believe he died early as well due to his alcoholism. He was 59 when he died. He had throat cancer. I started drinking. I guess I started really drinking in college. That was really more to fit in, to be a part of the fraternity party environment and girls
Right.
and things like that.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started going down that path?
I started going down that path at age 16. That's
Mm,
when I had my first drink that I really didn't stop
right.
after that, and it became a real problem. I thought I was highly functional. I was a highly functional person in a lot of trouble. Very, very dark seasons in my life.
And by highly functional, you mean that you could go to school, you could go to work, you were keeping appointments,
Mhm.
and you're drinking to numb the pain
Yeah.
or just to not face certain things that had happened or maybe currently happening. Is
Oh
that
yeah,
correct?
absolutely. It
Yeah.
was it was all about that. It was about numbing the pain. It was about forgetting about my father's death. It was about forgetting that my mother was so unstable, because my mom was so unstable that she would love us and then a minute later she will hate us. So
Right.
it
That's
was it
confusing.
was one
Yeah.
insult after the other. Oh, I love you, but I hate you. I love you, but you're dumb. I love you, but you're an idiot. I love you, but you're stupid. And it was a very, very confusing world
Yeah.
with my mother, because it was only the manifestation of who she was, and
Right.
we really took the blunt of that, definitely. But yeah,
Yeah.
my drinking and my drug problem, because it was drinking and drugs. I never did one more than the other. I did it, both of them, they were together all the time. When I had
Ah.
alcohol, I had drugs, and it was always together. Yes. Hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does massage therapy help people who are in rehab? I don't know if I've ever heard of that before, with massage therapy being a part of the rehab. Walk us through that.
Yes, absolutely. I've been over 2 years working in 2 rehab centers for drug abuse and alcohol addiction. It's me, my colleague, and a chiropractor. So it's us three that we go, and the purpose of this is help the patients understand that there's other alternatives to their healing.
Mm,
I could say to you, Benjamin, that 75% of all of these patients have or have had a reason to drink opioids. Many of them is
mm.
auto accident, post-surgical. Most of them are false auto accident, post-surgical. They are prescribed painkillers, and that's
That's
it.
how it starts.
That
Yeah.
is how it starts. That is how it has started for thousands of them that I've been seeing over these very short 2 years that I've been taking care of them. But the rooting of drug and alcohol abuse, it's not really the alcohol and drug abuse. The rooting is, most of the time, is childhood trauma. The rooting is sexual abuse. The rooting is tragic passing. Research says that 2/3 of every kid in the world will have a traumatic experience by the time they reach 16 years old, whether it is the tragic passing of someone, being bullied by family members or at school, and or assault. I went through all of them by the
Mm.
time I was 9 years old, and then the silence,
Right.
the shame and the silence of it. And I have had many patients, especially gentlemen, that they have been sexually abused when they were little kids, and they know exactly what happened to them to take them to the path where they went. Many of them, they have OD'd 3, 4, 5, 8 times,
Wow.
and they are brought back. I work for one of the centers that I work for. These people OD'd, these people died, and they were brought back. And the other is like it's like a continuation of the treatment, and they get housing, they get opportunities for working, and they try to be rehabilitated, but many of them, they really don't make it. Many of them, they just come back for more. I have seen this girl 16 times in 2 years. So she's just one example of how the system may work for some, but in the majority of the cases, it really doesn't work out. And this is when massage therapy comes into play, because they really feel better. They
Right.
really feel in a calmer state. They really say, it's like, wow, the spasm that I had on my shoulders because of this accident that I had, I feel much better. What
Mm.
can I do to continue with this? And the help that we give them, it really gives them hope to find another option besides a pill to
Right.
make them feel better, and get them into a path of really recovering, not only in the sense of letting go of the drugs and alcohol, but healing emotionally and of course physically. So that's when massage therapy comes into play. It's so important. Hmm.
Two questions. One, is it also kind of getting out of their head? I know, trauma is totally different than, maybe some day-to-day worries or concerns, but I've heard people talk about, kind of getting out of your head and getting more into your body. So with exercise, and I know you're a big proponent of getting, exercise and things like that.
Hmm.
Is that one of those additional benefits as well with massage therapy?
Oh yes,
Um, yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. With massage therapy, and this is proven scientifically, with only one session of massage therapy, the stress hormone cortisol, the levels of the stress hormone goes down by 30%,
Hmm.
and the levels of the happy chemicals in our bodies, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, these four happy chemicals, the levels of them go up by 31% with only one session of massage therapy,
Wow.
because of course it helps with relaxation. Of course, it helps the muscles just melt into the way they are supposed to be.
That's
Yes,
right.
and
That's right.
we do 10-minute sessions, and with 10-minute sessions is powerful. They
Mm.
feel the difference. They feel relief. They cannot wait till the next day we go in, all of them. They say, it's like, what's the best part of our day? When you guys are here.
Wow.
And that means a lot to us, because the labor that we do is something that is bigger than ourselves. Is a
Right.
huge mission to help someone, anyone that is under those circumstances, to see and really understand that it's like, okay, there is hope for you, and
Hmm.
that's very meaningful to us. Hmm.
Yeah. What's the name of your book that you were able to contribute to?
Yes, absolutely. The name of my book is Impact Leadership with Blanca E. Rodriguez. I'm available in Amazon Kindle and paperback as
Okay.
well. Yeah,
Okay.
and
Awesome.
it's a collaboration between 29 other authors and myself,
Hmm.
and we all are sharing stories of going really deep down that rabbit hole, thinking that we don't have a way out. Lots of stories of childhood trauma, like myself, loss, suicide, and really, by the grace of God, finding the way out to the other side, finding that treasure in the trash, finding, I mean, really, really healing ourselves, because we only if we really put the work in, we will
Mhm.
see that difference. And when we change our mindset, our lives definitely will change.
Are you do you journal? Are you still writing? Those 2,000 words you said played a big impact for you, after 47 years. Share with us, are you continuing to do that to release different thoughts or emotions? And what's your protocol for self-care?
I journal on a daily basis.
Okay.
On a daily basis, because I have jobs that they can take a lot from me. It's a
Hmm.
lot that I'm giving.
It is. It is.
And to be a giver and have good balance in our lives, we need to be receivers as well. And journaling is one of the most powerful things that we can do for healing, for distressing, for critical thinking, for clearing our minds. Journal is not only about writing 3 words and go. I mean, I journal about my day, my life, my daughter, my jobs, anything that can be of help to de-stress, to decompress. That is really, really important. I put things into prayer. I do meditation. I exercise a lot. I drink massive amounts of water, because the more water we have in our bodies, the better of a clear mind we will have.
Mm-hmm.
75% of
Mm-hmm.
our brain structure is composed of water, and so is our guts. Our guts and the brains, they are interconnected. So when you hear that phrase that says the gut is the second brain of our bodies, you better believe that is true, because there's chemicals and hormones that are created in the gut, and they go directly to the brain for better function of our bodies. So that is very, very important. Something as simple as water, how much of a powerful difference can make in our lives. And definitely prayer, meditation, exercise gratitude every day for the simplest things that we have in life can make such a difference in our day. Breathing techniques, how important it is to breathe. I promise you that if you do slow breathing, inhaling and exhaling slow 3 times is all it takes for your body to relax, to calm down. So
Mm.
it's a very powerful practice. I do it every single day. I do it in my job when things are very chaotic, because
Right.
we are the calm in the middle of their storm.
Right.
And it's important for them to feel that sense of calm, and they really do. So it's very important, and I'm very grateful for to be part of it.
Has that been challenging for you with, having a past with drugs and alcohol and now working with people with that as well? Whether it's, I don't know, flashbacks or temptations, how have you been able to manage that where, you continue to stay focused?
That is a great question, and thank you for that. The way that I am since the day I started, and I'm doing it to this day, is have real conversations with them.
Okay.
And the one thing that I am learning with these centers is that nobody has anything to hide.
Mm.
Nobody has anything to sugarcoat. So when they say stories that I can relate to them, I tell them part of my story. And it's a
Gotcha.
healer for both of us. It's been a real help for myself in my healing and my recovery, because the healing takes a lifetime, and for the
Right.
rest of my life I will be healing. And it's definitely one of the best medicines that I have found in the form of a rehab center, with sharing with these patients my story. And they
Hmm.
look at me and they say, wow, I look at you and I would have never imagined in a million years that you were so troubled. And like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is when silence, 47 years of expertise and being silent and pretending that my life was so perfect and everything was so well put. That's where it took me. But it's been a blessing in disguise again, because I'm helping to this day many people, not only through massage therapy, but by having a conversation. A 5-minute conversation can be such a powerful medicine for them in their healing journey. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Toastmasters podcasting now, you have your book. Was all of that for you to say, I'm no longer going to be silent? Or am I reading into that too much?
Well, my chapter in my book was the first step on
Okay.
breaking my silence. And I broke my silence in a very big way. And
Yeah.
I mean, in
With
the
the
biggest
book.
possible way, it's like, okay, everybody and anybody can read about my life.
Yeah.
And my sister, my brother, they read the chapter and they were like,
Mm.
why didn't you say anything? And I said, well, there was nothing to say. What's your story? And
Right.
because we were indoctrinated. We were raised to everything. It was about you keep quiet
Don't
and
say
keep
anything.
quiet. Don't
Yeah.
say anything. Don't say anything. And especially being raised in a culture where the word of a woman was not really of much value. If you are a good person, a good woman, you put yourself before you put everybody before yourself. That is, a big indicative that it's like, no, my word has no value. So why even say anything? And then as the years kept on passing by, as my life kept on changing for the better and the better, I said, okay, it's time. It's time to say it out loud. It's time to make it a mission in my life for the rest of my natural life to help people speak up, to help people understand that, I mean, the wound is not our fault, but the healing is our responsibility. And as
Mm.
long as we put the hard work and dedication, it's totally worth it. It's totally worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living
Mm-hmm.
proof of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amen. So I got to ask, we're about out of time here. Are you planning on starting a podcast?
You know
I think
what?
I could listen to you for a long time. Have
Oh.
you ever thought about that?
You know what? I have had a few people already asking me, are you thinking about starting a podcast? You should do this. And I'm
Yeah.
bilingual. I speak perfect Spanish as well. So
Yeah.
I have had people, approaching me about it. And I'm like, well, I haven't. But now that you say it, it's like, wow, I really should give it like some serious
You should
consideration
give
on
it some
doing this.
thought.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
appreciated. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, your story is powerful. And a lot of people need to hear it. I think also with the silence and just bringing awareness. And I think sometimes we may say, well, there's a lot of people who are already talking about things, but everybody has their own voice. Everybody has a unique way of connecting with other people as well. So with the great work that you're doing, that was
Thank you.
just a natural thought. Blanca, what do you want people to leave with today?
Don't let your past define who you are or who you will be. Learn the lessons. God has a plan. I promise you all. God has a plan for all of us. And you may not even understand or comprehend why some things are happening to you, but trust me when I say it is for a very powerful reason and you will see it. I promise you that. But definitely keep on going. Don't give up no matter what age you are. That definitely is it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Blanca. Well
Thank you.
said. May
Thank
God
you.
bless you. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
God bless you too, Benjamin. Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye bye.